All right, everyone. Welcome back to the next episode. Done just a little bit of work in between. I've just trimmed up the bedsides completely. Then I've also trimmed the metal bedsides almost. Just going to weld them on to the bar yet. But we have a special guest out here with us today. We have Mr. Stud out here joining us. His new outside playpen. Yeah, what you think, bud? Huh? Yeah? Meow. Yeah. All right. You enjoy the weather. We're going to get back onto this. So what I'm going to do next here is I drilled a couple holes in the bedside itself. And I'm basically just going to plug weld that to the plumber's tubing that we use for the frame. And I also want to bring this up, seeing I've had a couple, we'll call them S10 purists, comment that I ruined a perfectly good truck. I have found so much bondo on this bed on both sides that I can't say this was a perfect specimen, but regardless, it was an S10. There's so many of these out there. But I just wanted to show the few people that keep commenting that I ruined this truck, that it wasn't pristine to begin with, but that's all I had to say about that. So we're gonna set the camera up and we're gonna do some welding here. All right, like I said, gotta do some plug welds here. So basically just weld right where I drilled that hole. Nothing too crazy. Just gotta make sure we don't burn it. Alrighty. I think we're gonna be good. The wide body, make sure everything stayed in place. Yep, all the holes still line up. I'll move over and do the other side. Got the metal parts cut. So now we got that kind of pass through that I was looking for. And I'm all mounted. Everything's looking just the way I wanted. I got both sides, like I said, done. Like, how, buddy? You like it too? Yeah? What you think? Yeah? What? Huh? Yeah, you keep an eye out. All right, next, I think we're going to start putting some bondo on it. Now that we got the shape, everything cut out. So let's set everything up and we'll do some bondo. All right, a couple coats later of the bondo. I think this is maybe number 4 now on each side. Got everything pretty smooth. So hopefully this is the last skim coat of bondo I got to do. Basically in between each one of them, sand it down, start using the kind of like flat block sander to get this top part smooth as possible. The lowest spots first, and any of the bondo that's going into the holes for the mounting points, I'll just drill back out or Dremel back out once we're completely done sanding. Just coat over everything. Fill in any of the last pinholes that I may have. I'm still going to take it off yet to then do like this area up here by the cab where I got the 2 mounting bolts yet. I figure that'll just be easier for me to get when it's completely off for those kind of more complex contours, I guess you could say. This off again. I'll let this last coat dry here. We'll do the sanding on the other side while we wait. Like I said, hopefully this will be the last coat. I can take it off, start painting. I think I'll probably just wind up doing the same as I did up front. Do a coat of primer, get everything all one color. Then I think I did white, then black. Actually black, white, then the silver. Kind of matched the same that was on the body of the truck. Yeah. It's going along pretty smoothly. It's a whole lot more sanding to go. So I'm going to get back to it. I'll probably come back with you guys when I do the final sanding. All right, so I got everything all sanded down with some, I think I use 240 maybe. I was saying I'm doing a patina kind of look on these, kind of like I did for the fronts. I'm not gonna sand it any smoother than the 240, seeing I'm gonna go over and sand it again anyway. And I think I went up to 600 in the final pass on those. So I'm gonna do the same thing on this. So I'm gonna start off with some primer after I wipe it down with some acetone. And this just kind of cleans the surface. And if you're doing like a more high quality paint job, you also want to use like a tack rag to get any lint or other dust off of it. But again, seeing we're not going for the best paint job per se, where it's going to be all glossy, this will work just fine. Just getting all of the dust and the big chunks of debris off if there is any yet. I give it a quick wipe down. The same thing on the other one here. Yeah, if you're also doing like something where you're going to do like a gloss paint job, you wouldn't want to use just normal paper towel. That's more where the tack rag, I believe, would come in. It's been a long time since I did like a professional, higher quality paint job. So I don't know all of the tips and tricks and steps, but like I said, for patina paint job, this will be more than good enough. Just like anything else, just get a decent distance away from the part you're painting. Just nice light coats. And then once you start putting actual paint down, you can kind of see all of the slight imperfections a little more. Go back in frame. But plan for all of the fiberglass stuff still, because I still want to skin everything in some forged carbon. The way I'm looking at it is saying I'm going to kind of resurface all of this down the road anyway in the next couple months, that it doesn't have to be perfect right now. So any of these pinholes that are still showing will get fixed and covered when we do the forged carbon. And that'll be another learning experience for all of us. I've never done it. From the research I've done, it doesn't seem too difficult, but we'll get to that in a couple months. So just there's the end of that one. Switching up colors. But these are both primers. Probably just do a light pass just to get it all black anyway. And again, seeing I'm going to do the kind of patina look. I don't think I'm going to sand this primer down at all, where normally that's what you would do. And this will also kind of act a little bit like Bondo and fill in any small imperfections you may have left. All that's going to get fixed with sandpaper. And while we let primer dry, I move on to taking the paint off of. Oh. Gotta love hard leaves. Taking the paint off a little bit of the metal bedside that kind of shows at the back end. All right, I'll let that dry. For now, we'll move on to some more sanding and grinding. Yay. All right, so we let first coat of paint dry. I'll work on taking off the rest of this paint back here. So I want it to match the top of the cab where it's just the bare metal. And to do that, I'm going to use, it's kind of like a hard sponge, and this is actually designed to just take the paint away without actually taking any of the metal off. So basically, just like you would a normal flapper disc or grinder, that's basically the way you use it. So we're just going to get to it. There we go. Down to bare metal, just like I want. Now, one thing to still keep in mind while using one of these paint discs or remover discs is it's still going to heat up the metal like a normal grinder disc or flapper disc. So you still want to kind of move around. You don't want to be in one spot for too long because it still has the potential to heat up and warp the metal on you still. So that's why I was kind of bouncing around areas a little bit, just kind of like you would if you were tack welding something or metal finishing something that couldn't be warped at all. I think that's good enough on this side. I think I'll be able to put the next coat of paint down, and then I'm going to go over and do that side. So for now, I'll just kick it back to some time-lapse or B-roll stuff. I'll get back to you when I do some new and fun. Put 2 coats of the gray on it after I did the primer, the black, the white, and then the gray. So now I'm going to just basically sand down everything to give it a more matte or satin finish to go with the rest of the paint that's on the truck. And then we'll just pick random spots and we'll sand a little bit deeper, get some white, some black to show through, maybe even some primer, just to match the door and the rest of the body. So basically I'm just gonna go over with some 400 grit, but I'm also going to use on the DA, it's this little kind of foam pad that goes in between. Seeing we're not trying to like shape anything, I'd like to keep the curves and the shape the way it is. So this kind of goes with the contour of it where it's not like a hard flat surface. So I'm just going to go over everything with the 400 and then we'll switch to some water and then we'll step up to 600 and 800 and maybe 1,000 after that, all with like the water sanding to get the actual patina look going. Basically, I'm just going to sand and just kind of eyeball everything, seeing we're doing the patina. There's no real right or wrong way to do it. It's just the process of getting there is kind of different between. All right, so you got all of it knocked down pretty much to a matte finish. Also got rid of some of that orange peel. I'm just using the rattle cans. So I'm basically just got a cup full of water. Take one of the sanding pads, and the best way to kind of hold onto it. It'll get kind of easier as it gets smoother because it's still like trying to grip onto it, onto the paint surface. Plus, I only let this dry for about maybe hour and a half. So the paint's still probably a little tacky. So if you let it dry and like cure overnight, this step would be a little easier. And then the point of the water, those that haven't done any wet sanding or any body work ever, kind of keeps the sanding paper clean, or it doesn't let like the material. You kind of look at this one, how it's got all of the paint kind of stuck into it from sanding it off. When you use water, it just keeps the sandpaper clean. So as we get a little more sanded, smoother, it is becoming easier to kind of hold on to the sandpaper. I'm going to kind of follow the same kind of pattern as the front, making this lead edge kind of more patinaed. And as it goes back, not as much, kind of like the wind's hitting it and hitting it longer. Probably move the electrical cord. Don't need a hospital trip in the 4th episode. I'm going to save that till a little later on. I think also in this video, so far we've just kind of pretty much painted and got this shaped. Getting this all ready for the Wisconsin Showdown Clean Culture show tomorrow. So I think we'll try and shoot some video there too. See how some car show vlogging will fit in with all of this. All right. I ended up getting everything sanded down to kind of wild patina look. Not the biggest fan of it off the bat, but I'm sure it'll grow on me. But then again, this won't be like this next year. This will all be covered in the forged carbon. But for the last couple shows that we're gonna do this year, I think that'll be just perfect. So I'm just gonna give it a nice quick wash tonight. Get all ready for the show tomorrow. So I'll check back in tomorrow when I get everything set up at the show. Okay, back the next week. Really didn't get any footage at the show. Pretty much once I got there, I was swamped by everyone to come check out the truck, talk about it and whatnot. Plus, I got to get used to actually filming out in public and not just here alone in my garage. I think next year we'll do some actual show footage once I get more comfortable behind the camera, or in front of the camera, I should say. Plus, with the projects I got planned for the next couple videos, it'll be kind of hard to make it to some shows. So I think we'll just get back to the build videos, not worry about any car show vlogs until next year. Like always, if you got any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments on here or Instagram. Make sure you like and share and subscribe. But till the next video, here's the cats.